You're watching the SCAC Men's and Women's Swimming and Diving Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Centenary College Ladies and Gents Men's and Women's Swimming and Diving programs. Ladies and Gents once again be led as they head into the season of the guidance of head coach Tom Radam, along with leadership from sophomores Ubaldo, Ayala on the men's program, and Hannah Waddell on the women's program. And Coach Ubaldo, Hannah, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Coach, we'll open up with you heading into year 3 as the head coach of these two programs. What makes this time of the year so special, the start of these new seasons, and where have you seen the biggest growth in your programs over the last couple of years heading into year 3?
What makes it exciting is that you have all these kids coming from all around the different parts of the country, and they're coming together to be one team. One of the things that we did early in the season is we took a picture of their different swim caps from their different clubs. And that was day 1. But shortly after that, practice day 2 was they were all turned Centenary caps. And having that melding kind of process and seeing how these pieces start to fit together and how those personalities and those abilities start to mesh, that's what makes it really exciting in the beginning of the year.
Ubaldo, coming into your sophomore campaign, you burst on the scene last year as a freshman, 3 individual titles over the course of your rookie campaign. What did going through your first year at the collegiate level do for you in terms of your confidence, learning what you learned about the course of a season, and ultimately how excited are you to be back here in the start of year 2, your sophomore year?
Yeah, I learned a lot throughout my freshman year. It was a big transition going from high school swimming to college swimming. I had to learn how to manage my time, both studies and swimming. I feel like I've come a long way. As team captain, I'm helping the freshmen manage their time, trying to encourage them and motivate them to, come to practice, do their best, and help them in any way I can.
Hannah, Coach talked a little about his, things that he loves the most about the start of a new year. I'm interested from a student athlete's perspective. What is your favorite part of the start of a new season? How are you excited to be back with your teammates, and what are you looking forward to most about the start of this year?
I was most excited about all the incoming freshmen just to see their skill level and how they'll fit into the team, which it's gone really well this year. And I'm just looking forward to going to meets and winning and doing our best as a team.
Coach, tell us a little about these two programs. What have you learned about these two groups, the personalities of these teams? What have you seen from these two teams early on as they've started to meld together, as you talked about, that gives you confidence in these groups heading into the year?
Oh, well, they spent a first month before we actually got in the water together here at Centenary. And that whole month where they had an opportunity just to be with one another and go to Paris and celebrate that over there for 10 days at the tail end of the Olympics. Just how quickly they begin to realize that they're here for each of them for a different academic reason for the most part, okay? But also because they have this joy of swimming. And that commonality is what started their bonding, is that they love to swim and they know they picked the right academic school for their interest. And they've had a month without the pressures of training to get to know and learn one another. And I think that's been a huge, huge success for why we're so far, I think, in front of coming together as a team and creating that chemistry.
Ubaldo, I as we talked before coming on, I'm fascinated in the dedication and motivation and just commitment to being a swimming student athlete and the hours in the pool and balancing your academics, as you talked about earlier. For you as a swimmer, what is it that continues to motivate you to continue to keep coming back to the pool each day and put forth your best? And, what individually have you continued to work on as a swimmer that gives you confidence coming into your sophomore season?
Yeah, for me, my biggest motivation is not letting my team down. I have a role in my team, and that's to perform. So if I don't perform, then I let my team down. So yeah, that's what motivates me in practice. I need to, be there every day, try my best so I can continue to do good at meets. Yeah, so in practice, coach gives me advice on my strokes, and it's really focusing on little things, really technique, and really just basically working on my technique the little things in my stroke to better my times.
Hannah, similarly to Ubaldo and his first year there at the Centenary program, you had an outstanding rookie campaign, closing it out in style at the SCAC Championships, new school record in the 200 breast, finishing just outside of an all SCAC spot on the podium. How did the way you closed out your freshman year continue to grow your confidence as a swimmer? And what have you, similar to what Ubaldo talked about, what have you worked on with your stroke and your individual efforts to continue to grow your confidence into the season?
Definitely ended with a bang last year, which helped me this year come back to the pool and that set an example for my other teammates. So I knew coming in this year, I would need to work just as hard and help push everyone else. And just working wise, same as Ubaldo, just on strokes, technique, work a lot. That's pretty much. I also have been working on some underwaters, holding breath, just technique in general to get our times faster and speed up.
Coach, swimming, the season of swimming is unique, really to all sports here in the SCAC, and the fact that it spans over those 2 semesters. It's quite a long season. There's the ebbs and the flows. So you as a coach, how do you kind of attack that? How do you approach, handling the ebbs and flows with your teammates and kind of the peaks and valleys? And what are some things that you want to see early on from your group that gives you confidence that they're heading in the right direction to being able to swim their best come conference championship time?
Well, Russell, I mean, I think you hit it on the spot in that it's a very delicate balancing act on different dimensions. I mean, this first part of the season is just about getting them back into shape from a long over summer long thing. But now that we're back in shape, now we can actually start that training. But amidst all of that, we still have to work with the academic calendar in terms of our midterms, our finals, the holidays that are coming up. And so it's a very delicate balance in terms of how hard we train, how quickly we train, and then where we're going to take a little bit of a rest between, but knowing that some of those are built-in rests because of the academic calendar. But, the goal is that each month we get better, that the team that we take the conference is not the team we are today. And the team that opens up in the first of the year is going to be a completely different team that ended in 2024. And I think all these kids have seen significant progress in what they've been doing, and they're buoyed by the fact that their times are coming down and they're approaching some of their lifetime bests so early in the season. And so it's just one of those things where we have to manage their academics along with their athletic training in such a way that it gives them the confidence and the conditioning to do and excel in both.
Finally, as we wrap up with our student athletes for Ubaldo and Hannah, as you've had conversations with some of your teammates and some of the leaders within your groups about some of the goals and expectations coming into this season, what have those conversations looked like? And ultimately, what's going to be key for your groups to accomplish those goals heading into the year?
Yeah, so one of the main conversations is this past weekend we had our first swim meet and we had our first win, and we hadn't won a meet in a couple of years. So that was a huge confidence boost. And conversation we have is let's keep the momentum going into the next meets, and we're really excited to see how we can perform at conference this year.
Yeah, just like you all was saying, we had our first win for a few years, and I think that really helped boost the freshmen with our conversations with them about keep working hard and show to practice, do your best, and the work will pay off, especially whenever we get to conference and have to race bigger schools with much faster times.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, success in our world of sports can be measured in so many different ways. It's what makes athletics such a unique and special venue. And you can hear it just in your answer as far as your preparation for the year and dealing with the ebbs and flows of a season. But when you talk about success with your 2 programs, what is that message that you try to deliver to your teams? How do you try to kind of quantify that with your groups? And ultimately, these seasons look successful if what plays out over the course of this 24-25 year.
Okay, well, what I expect from them is 2 things, is that we're going to do 2 things exceptionally well. And that is first in the classroom. I mean, everyone that's been recruited in this program over the last 2 years have heard that from me, that education comes first. And then we're going to amplify their joy for swimming And we're going to take this athletic program of men's and women's swimming to new highs that it hasn't seen in quite some time. We have a relatively young team. It's 85% of them are freshmen or sophomores. You're looking at my two captains. They're coming off their freshman year, and they're leading this squad as sophomores. I think that says something about this program in terms of the direction that we're going and the leadership that we have. And I couldn't be happier with Hannah and Ubaldo at the helm here, leading the way.
Centenary College men's and women's swimming and diving programs. Again, the Gents will head into the season under the guidance of head coach Tom Radam, along with leadership from captain sophomores Ubaldo Ayala and sophomore Hannah Waddell. Coach Hannah, Ubaldo, thanks so much for joining us today, and best of luck as you continue to move forward in the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.